What's up, guys? 8 here with another Duel Invoke replay for you. Today I've got me playing my Eldlich Invoked deck, and I played against the Invoked Shaddoll Dogmatika deck. If you're interested in the deck list of my Shaddoll Invoked deck, not Shaddoll Invoked, of my Invoked Eldlich deck, then you could find it on my buddy Agent with Cards YouTube channel. I got first at locals with it last week, I think, and the list is pretty cool. I really enjoy it. But looking at the opening hands, he won the rock, paper, scissors, and he's got Ecclesia, Maximus, Ghost Bell, Veiler, Ice Dragon, Prison. And I've got Alistair, Conquistador, Golden Lord, Hawquero, and Ash. And so he starts off normaling Veiler, which instantly I thought this was pretty funny, honestly. You don't often see a normal summon Veiler. And then he links it away into the Almirage. And then he's going to link Almirage away into the Secure Gardener. And then he's going to use Ecclesia to special itself. Here I ashed the effect of Ecclesia. And then he's going to go Maximus, banishing the Almirage. Maximus is a fucking tank, though. He's going to activate it. I don't play anything in my extra deck that I really benefit from sending. So I just send the Secure Gardener and then one of my Mechabuzz. I didn't really know what to send, but my thinking here was if I send Mechabuzz, it makes the fusion. Am I able to look at my own extra deck? No. It makes the fusion that it lets you like banish a fusion to gain attack, and I think you fusion summon it using a fusion also. It makes that card live. And sending Secure Gardener makes it so when I normal Alistair, I just make Almirage and I already have the Gardener there. So that was kind of my thought process. There's nothing I could benefit really from sending, but there's cards that I guess don't hurt to send. And so that's why I sent them. And then he uses the effect of the App Cologne. He's going to add a Shaddoll Schism, and then he's going to discard the Ice Dragon Prison, set the Schism. End phase, he gets the effect of Ash to search. That's kind of ironic to say, the effect of Ash to search, when usually when you hear Ash, it's a card that's preventing you from searching. So he adds the, what's this card called? Fleur-de-Lis. And so I draw into the Sanguine. And this hand feels really powerful, honestly. Like, I felt like I was kind of fine. I activate Golden Lord. I send the Maximus to grave. Then I set the Sanguine, activate the effect. Oh, he's like, think, but then he didn't do anything. Set the Sanguine, effect a Golden Lord, send Sanguine. I kind of expected the Schism to come down here, but it didn't. I thought he would like just chain it, but I guess then I just punch over his guy, so it wouldn't have mattered. Then I go battle and I swing. And here, well, he's like, nah, main phase. And I'm like, all right. And he goes Schism. And I, like, expected Schism to just get a window. I totally forgot about the other part of its effect. And he banishes the App Cologne and a Veiler, and he summons out Construct. He doesn't play any targets to send, so I think he's only on the Schism. Here, I had a mini heart attack, because if he would have sent a Aerial, he would have, at resolution, this would have got sent, and then Aerial could have banished my 3 traps, or my 2 traps, and my Golden Lord, and I actually would have probably just conceded right then and there. That would have been like overkill. But luckily for me, he didn't. He just sends the Golden Lord, which I say just, that's still like a really good thing for him. I would have rather him winded me, honestly. And then the I set the Golden Land Conquistador, and I'm going to banish the 2 and set 2. The reason I opted not to Alistair is because I know he has Fleur-de-Lis. Doesn't really do me any benefit to do so, because, well, 1, I lose the Alistair. 2, he gets the Fleur-de-Lis on the board, which is going to make it more likely for me to just die on the following turn. Whereas if I just hold Alistair, I have a chance to resolve it next turn. And also, if he decides to Fleur-de-Lis to have that extra damage, then he doesn't have the Alistair negate. So, like, I'm keeping a card and I'm taking less damage in doing so. It just feels correct. Even looking back at it here, it looks pretty correct. So I'm going to set the Scarlet and I'm going to set the Golden Land. And then pass over to him. He draws an Alistair, which kind of bad for me. He activates Alistair. He's going to add himself Invocation. And then the Invocation comes down. I chain the the elixir, because I don't want him to banish the Golden Lord. But he's got the Ghost Bell. Ghost Bell or Ash on the elixir hurts a lot, honestly. Not like every time, but in this type of scenario where he's already got the pressure and I don't really have any pressure, it hurts a lot. But like it's still technically like over time it's a plus for me because he used a card on a card of mine that is gonna give me another card anyways. But like I need board presence right now, not card economy. And so he banishes the golden. So it's looking pretty rough for me. He gets to make the Makaba. Invocation goes back, adds back Alistair. That's another thing that the bell hurts so much because if I got the Golden Lord out, then I could have used the Hawquero to banish the Invocation and kept him off getting the Alistair back. And he didn't have a trap in hand, we know, so he wouldn't have been able to stop it either. And then I'd have the Conch here to pop probably the Makaba. But like that didn't happen. He had the bell, and so it is what it is. He swings for a K, and I activate my trap just to chump block 2 hits because he can't redeclare on this or he'll take damage. So then he just misses out on his attack. Then he hits with this, and I think Construct can't attack directly. Yeah, so I'm only gonna take 15 even though he has this huge board. I don't know why he didn't swing Construct into my Golden Land. Now that I'm looking at it, because this card can't attack directly, he definitely should have just attacked the monster with that. But I'm happy taking less damage. Fuck it. And then I draw an Veiler. Not very good. I set the Alistair, banish the traps, and then pass. He draws another bell. Here let's see. I'm going to wait for the play to come up. He summons Alistair. I think in the standby phase, I probably should have activated Sanguine, which would have been met with bell. But if he didn't have the bell, then my logic is that from there I could Conquistador, pop the Makaba, and then I know the Alistair is going to come down. Then I'd be able to Veiler the Alistair, and then he would be out of ways to advance his game state. But like it doesn't matter because I had the bell. But even with hindsight being 2020, knowing he has the bell, I still think that would have been the most optimal way to play around the most amount of cards. And so he ends up Makabaing my Veiler, getting himself the Invocation. And then here he goes Invocation, and that's when I use Scarlet. And it again gets met with a bell. And I go, because, yeah, it hurt. Second Makaba comes down. I just scooped. There's, like, no chance of me coming back that duel. If he doesn't even close, he might close the game out that turn. I don't actually know damage-wise, but I couldn't see a future where I came back. Although, like, maybe. I search off the Alistair. Maybe it was dumb to scoop there. Let's think. If he swung into the Alistair with the Construct, I for sure died. But we did see that he didn't do that the turn prior. So there's like a chance I lived. And I could have maybe chump blocked an attack with my traps. But like I was in a very, very bad spot. I keep saying that, but actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I should have scooped that game. I think I could have kept going. But live and learn. Oh well. Game 2 though. I open Border, Alistair, Cursed, Ash, and Blossom. I said Ash and Blossom. What a dummy. But Ash and Magical Meltdown. He's got the Called By, an Upstart, a Ghost Bell, a Terraforming, and a Maximus. So his hand's playable. My hand honestly is not like crazy. But I open Border, so I don't need a crazy hand. Like a subpar hand in a Border is usually just enough. Especially in this deck because they're not really siding monster hate for you. You end on 1 Makaba and some back row. So typically I feel like matchups should be siding back row or hand traps like Ghost Bells and stuff. And this card is stopped by none of that. There's also a case where maybe I should have just like played Border before doing this. Almost definitely, so he wouldn't have been able to Ash it. I didn't really think about why I did it this way, honestly. Here, maybe I should have Meltdown first to try to bait an Ash, then summon Border, and then do this. But no one Ashes Meltdown. But I'd be happy if he did, because like even though I could Border, I'd rather him just not have the Ash, so if he outs Border, I don't have to deal with the Ash later. But again, I just summon Border, set 1. And it's probably just going to be enough. He goes Upstart. I'll gain 1,000 life. He'll go Nadir's Servant, send a Tis, search. And here he tries to pop when a Tis, and then he just goes, oh. I don't think he like 100% comprehends how border works, which is fine because like nobody really plays this card. He terraformings for Meltdown. He's gonna activate Meltdown. Meltdown searches. Doesn't matter what you search, buddy. You don't have monster effects. Where's my water? I'm thirsty as hell today. Summons Alistair. Makes All Mirage. Makes the Secure Gardna. So one interesting thing here is that if he would have went Meltdown first, right? And then he goes make All Mirage, make Secure. Oh wait, he cheated, bro. Oh, damn, I didn't even realize this. He couldn't have made those extra deck monsters. But anyways, what I was going to say is if he would have got to this point first and then had held the Nadir Servant, activate Nadir here, he could send Natis, search, Natis attempt to pop. Although I would have met the Natis with the Ash where he would then called by it. So it would have resolved. He could have popped this, and I would have been in a much worse spot. But that's kind of like an advantage to siding cards that people aren't really expecting you to side. There might be cards that are like hypothetically more optimal, but if everybody's playing them, then people know how to play around them. And in this scenario, like you don't really expect an Invoked deck to put a border in against you, so he wasn't really like thinking properly, I guess. But this is also very important that I need to remember is that when you use these cards, you can't summon from the extra deck. Like he should not have been able to even attempt to play the game here. But like I said, attempt to play the game. He didn't get to play the game. He specials Ecclesia, which activates the special summon. And then he tries to use the search, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. I didn't say it like that. I said, boy. And then he just scoops it up. Borders a unit. But now that I think about it, he definitely could have outed it. But again, like that's why you got to play cards people aren't used to. So they don't make the optimal lines of play because they haven't gone through that line of play 1,000 times. Next up, we got game 3 with him going first with Servant, Alistair, Bell, Meltdown, Invocation. And this hand is funny as fuck. My hand, double Bell, Ash, Veiler, Sanguine. Literally like hand traps for any major combo starter he can have. And then one card that is actually an engine piece. But like this one engine piece, even if hand trapped, eventually gets me my whole engine. It's just slow. But I have hand traps for every scenario, so the slow roll is what we're going for here. He summons Alistair, I Veiler. He links it away. He links it away again. He goes Invocation, I Bell. He goes Nadir Servant, I Ash. He goes pass turn. And then I draw the Meltdown, activate Meltdown. Meltdown for Alistair. Alistair search. Grab myself an Invocation. Link away just like he did. Activate my Invocation. And he let it resolve. Seeing he has the Bell and he let that resolve is a little weird to me. I wonder why. Because, like, maybe he wants to use it against a Sanguine, but I feel like you just stop the, what's it called? You stop the Mecha buff from coming down. There's also a world where he might have thought I would use his Alistair, I guess. I don't know. And that it would make his Invocation live. So maybe he was just kind of like betting on that happening, but it didn't. I don't know why he wouldn't have belled here. And so I summon out my Makaba. I put my fusion back to grab Alistair, and then I just punch over his Secure Gardna. And then I'm going to set my Sanguine, pass over to him. He draws another Meltdown, which isn't too hot. Meltdown effect. Search out Allie. Allie and AJ, best show. Summon Alistair. Alistair's not going to search. I'm a mecha butt at bitch. But this is where it's like not the end of the world for him because it gets banished so we can add it back. So his engine's now still going. Which, now that we see he has the Meltdown, didn't matter. His engine would have still been going anyways. But it's just kind of cool for him. It was like technically an egg one on my end. But like advantage-wise, it was still the correct play, I believe. Here we end phase Sanguine because he's going to pass turn to me. And this is where he decides to bell. Which again is like kind of weird. He could have just stopped the Makaba. This feels a lot less powerful than a Makaba, at least to me. I draw in a Chaos Hunter for turn. And I'm just going to enter battle, hit for 25. Chaos Hunter is a hell of a card, but I don't really get to showcase it here because I don't really have... if I were to wait for him to special summon and then use Hunter, discard to special, not only is it like... It takes both of the cards in my hand, so now my Makaba's not live, whereas the Makaba could just pitch the Hunter, and then I also can have the Bell, so it's like 2 interruptions versus 1. And so here he draws Schism. He goes Summon Alistair. Effect, I'm Makaba yet again. Banish that boy. He passes turn yet again. But here we're going to bring out Conquistador. And then draw for turn. I'm going to normal summon the Ghost Bell. I spent a lot of time thinking on it. I was really afraid because at first I was like, wait, does he not have spells? And do I not have spells? Because you see, he's got 1 servant. I have no spells. But then I remembered we both have a field spell, which puts me at 3 spell counters total if I summon Selene. And so once I realized that, we summon the Bell. Bell link away with the trap for Needle Fiber. Needle Fiber is going to summon Veiler. And then we're going to link the Veiler and the Needle Fiber into Selene. We get the 3 counters. I believe he just concedes here because I go Selene effect. He scoops him up. And for those that don't know, the play here is just you Selene out the Veiler, and then you can link the Veiler and the Selene into Helki Fibrax into Access Code Talker, targeting Selene, putting it at 53. So I would hit for 78 when he's at 55. And then, so another hesitation I had, aside from the fact that at first I didn't think I had 3 spells, was that he could Nibiru me. But if he Nibiru'd me, he'd be down to 1 card in hand. I'd have the Conquistador in hand, and then I'd have the Conquistador that could banish to grab the Elixir. So he'd have 1 in hand drawing the 2, and I'd still have an interruption through that. So I was kind of confident that I could go for the kill, and if I didn't secure it because of like the off chance he sided Nibiru against a deck that doesn't special that much, that I would still have a backup play that would be strong enough to most likely beat him. And it worked out in my favor, and we got the dub. So I thought this match was really interesting. If y'all enjoyed it, let me know. Like and subscribe. Speaking of subscribe, 94% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you made it this far, what the fuck is stopping you from hitting the goddamn button? Thank you for watching.